Hi everyone, I'm Marcie Besecker, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and today you are here because you have signed up for my Wildflower birthday class, and I'm super excited to get started with it. We're going to jump right in, but first I wanted to just let you know my next class is called Meant to Be, and it is the suite of the Meant to Be class, and it is super cute. And so there's going to be 5 projects. And I say 5 because we're going to have 5 this time also. But one of them is my thank you. Instead of me creating a card for you, I've decided I'm going to create a kit and send it to you to create. But I'm going to create it for you on an upcoming video for a class. So you're going to see the card here. It's going to be my thank you to you, but it will be on an upcoming video so you can create that as your thank you gift. And so that'll be available very soon for you, probably my next video. So that is coming your way. So that'll be really exciting, but you have a picture and you know it's coming. And so just have your kit ready. You could either create along with me or at your own leisure and go back to the live video and watch it when you want to. Okay. So today we're playing with Birthday Celebration. The suite is Wildflower Birthday. And we're just going to jump right in and get started because we've got a lot to do. And so I'm going to give you the PDF. It's going to have all the sizes. Most importantly, keep this video link because you're going to want to refer back to it, because my PDFs, because I do videos, are a lot of just measurements and a few tips and tricks. But the video is what's really important, because a lot of people don't do videos. And so they just make their PDFs pretty descriptive. And I choose to do a video because I like to be a visual and see what's going on and what the process is and everything, and to see what the end result is. So I'm sure there are others that like that too. So here we go. All right. So project number 1 is going to be this super fun. I'm going to cheat and look at my PDF because it tells me the name of the fold. I think this is a double box fold. I've done it before multiple times. But my PDF that I'm looking at is weird because it put things in weird order. So let me just look here. Double box fancy fold is what this one is called. A double box fancy fold. I'm going to be fixing that PDF. I put page breaks in and everything, and it still gets all wonky when it prints. I don't know why. But this is the card we're going to be making. On this particular card, we're going to be using the birthday celebration. And you know what? I'm going to tell you that no, we are not using that. We are using the handmade design. I decided to have the best day. This was the free set for those that join. If you don't have it, please choose whatever sentiment you would like. This one is really for a birthday only, and I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different and add some different sentiments for what I would use. So that is where that came from. The embossing folder is the new Starstruck, which is also Celebration. And I just thought it was festive. It kind of looks like it's got stars on it with little like firework looking things, which I thought was fun. Kind of looks like candles, could be birthday-ish. But it really is covered up a lot, so I wanted it small so you can see it when you do see it. So I used the Starstruck. All the supplies should be listed, so listed below. Okay, so on this card, I'm not going to give measurements out. They are on your PDF. We're just going to go ahead and create the card kind of like I do for bingo. We're just going to pull these out. So project number 1, watch out for your butterflies and your ribbon. Make sure that you have a large butterfly and a small butterfly. And your ribbon, I'm going to move all my flowers over to the side. And we're going to start with our card base. All right, so you're going to have this one. It's already scored. So just go ahead and score or burnish, I guess. I say score, but scoring is, you know, with your tool. But so burnish. And then you're going to fold this and go like that. So you want to see 2 squares right here. All right. You're going to add your adhesive right here. And you're going to do that. So you want to see 2 squares. And you're going to put your adhesive right here. Everybody's at different levels. That's what I like about classes, is that you can come back in. And I just put glue in here, but you know what? I'm gonna just make sure it's pretty thick. I think my glue thickened up a little bit, my green glue that was open, and so this might be a little thick, but that's all right. We're gonna make it work. It just means I have to squeeze a little harder. So I just kind of go quickly doing these because, and I kind of just talk as I go about what I'm doing. That way, everybody's at their own pace. If you are a slower crafter, what's nice about this is you can pause, go back, rewind, you know, watch it again. Okay, so you have 2 squares, and now this will fold up, and you've got your square right there. Okay, so that's perfect. So we're going to set that one aside. And then this one, I'm going to score, but I'm not going to attach it yet. So we're going to score it. Remember, I like to do the valley of the scoring on the top, and the bubble is where you're going to close it. So this stays on the outside. If you do it this way, it kind of breaks the paper right there, and gets kind of weird. But if you do it this way, you get a nice, crisp, clean fold. Okay, so we're gonna put our items on that before we get started. So we're going to set these out. What I like to do is just make sure you have everything. Put your paper on here. Should fit perfectly. Now, you're going to notice it's not square. Okay, so if you go like that, it's not going to work. Turn it. Okay, so turn it, and it should fit nice and snug right on there. I'm just going to lay that there for right now. This piece, we're going to take the second largest piece. Look at this, beautiful. This is the Pretty in Pink in color glimmer, right? So we're going to put that there. Same thing, look at it. Make sure you're going to go over if you go that way. Turn it, and it's going to fit perfectly there. This larger, the third largest one here, is going to go on the front here. And the second, or the last, the smallest one is going to go right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with this base here. And I use liquid because we're going on to glimmer paper, of course. So let's lift this up. I think I should have put a new bottle of glue in here because this is a little thick. It's still going to work perfectly fine, except my hand is going to be from squeezing this so hard. You would think I have another little bottle of glue somewhere, but this is my first one, and I've only used this one. No, you know what? I think I changed it because I broke a lid. So I think I did, this is my second one. But I should have 2 going, I guess, at the same time, just in case I run out or whatever, but it's so quick and easy to refill. And I've just always just had 1 going. All right, I like to rub that in just so you don't see your glue lines. I like to make sure it's in there. So there's that one. That's going to go there. And then let's do this one. Again, we have glimmer and embossed now, so I'm going to make sure I use glue. This was such a fun class. I started this as a video for a project. I mean, for a just a regular video. And I loved the cards so much that I did. It was a new fold that I was trying, not this one. I'll show you the one that got my class started, which is actually going to be the same fold I'm going to be doing for an organized swap. So if you're in an organized swap on stage, you're going to get a sneak peek of my fancy fold, because I have a fancy fold. I'm in a fancy fold swap. All right, the other thing why I like to put these together first, and I know some people like to glue these on before you fold it up. I like to do it because then I can see my center of my top and bottom better. When it's flat like this and you're putting it on, you know, it's just a little harder to see. So I like when it's up like this. So I'm going to use glue because I like to be able to move it around and get it right in the spot that I want. So of course I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see. All right. So I'm just going to put that right about there and right about there. Okay, I'm going to let that sit a minute and then we can fold it down and kind of push it in. But I want it to sit just a bit. I like the glue to start drying a little bit so it doesn't ooze or slide or anything. That looks perfect. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn my sound off. So that looks perfect. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And then let's go ahead and do this panel, which for whatever reason I can't pick up. I'm just going to double, triple check and see how far down I want to go. And it's pretty much even all the way around. If for whatever reason it looks a little bit big, just slide it down farther. You're not going to see it anyway. It's going to be hidden behind the other panel. But it should be really close to being okay. All right. Now, if you have somebody that's interested in this class, they can still purchase the PDF and video link only. The class has sold out. I sold all of the kits, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it up on in my store. If anybody wants just the PDF, they can get it. All right, so there is our first layer. Now, this one, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to attach it, and then we will add those on. So what we want, now let's go ahead and fold this down, and I'm just going to push it down. It'll still slide, so be careful. All right, we're going to push that down. Now, this one is going to go right above the pink. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold that back. We can fold this down. That's going to go right above the pink. I just eyeball it to center. And then again, you're going to fold the flap down to glue. And then that way, when this comes up, this will come up. Okay. So even if you wanted it up higher, you definitely could. It's wherever you want it to go. I want to see this, and I want to put my sentiment and put my flowers up here. So I just go right above the pink, and you're going to notice on this one, just so I could see two pinks right there with a little bit of white. I just like the way that looked, so that's what I chose to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay this right here, get an idea that it's going to go about right there. Right now we're concerned about this right here. We want glue below our fingers, okay? So put your fingers right here and grab this piece, and now turn it, and you want glue below. And I go a bit below because this glue is going to hold just fine. So I'm going to put my glue right here, and then I'm just going to fill that in. Remember, it's going on top of another embossed piece. So I do a pretty good amount of glue right there. Make sure you get to your edges a little bit. Now I'm going to come back, and now I don't mind if this is flat because it's going to go flat anyway. I'm going to bring this in right above the pink. I'm kind of hovering over to just get a good look about distance-wise on each side. I'm going to turn it towards me now just to make sure, and I think that is good. I'm going to move it a tad. I want to make sure that it's just lined up on the white above the pink. Okay, so this one I think can come up a tiny bit. There we go. All right, so there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do our white flap right here, and we need to add our glue. So I'm going to turn it this way because I'm right-handed. And I'm going to lift it up so I don't get glue here. And we're just going to put our glue. All right, now we're going to flip that under and lay it down right there. Now I'm going to turn this, I just kind of want to eyeball this right here. Okay, now remember, this is going to be a moving part, so you want to make sure that it stays down pretty well. So I'm just going to add a block right there for just the moment. Okay, leave that there. And this, make sure you kind of rub that glue in those embossed pieces there. And now let's put these together. Remember, you can always ask me any questions you want. If you're taking this class and you're in the middle of creating and you're like, oh no, I didn't understand that, or I couldn't see, or whatever the case is, just let me know. If the measurements are wonky, because, you know, I'm human, but hopefully I did go through and double check, so hopefully everything's right. Just let me know, and I will help you. Obviously, if you are not a demonstrator, I do get a lot of demonstrators that take my classes, but if you are not a demonstrator, you're a customer and you are thinking of joining, okay, this glue, I'm going to bust out this bottle. I just know it because it's got thicker glue. And you've been thinking about it, and you've been thinking, yeah, it would be nice to get a discount on my hobby, my habit. Let me know if you don't have a demonstrator and you're thinking of joining. I'd love to have you on my team. All right, so this is going to go here. And my team does get they do get my PDFs for free. I'm working on a new page for my team on my blog. I know I have a team member taking the class. She wanted to take the whole class. All right. So this is going to go here now. And now I'm going to, you can use seal if you want, but I have my glue right here. I'm just going to use the glue. And it's going right down onto paper, which is good. I like to add just a little bit extra. All right, we're gonna, now you can lift that up if you want, do it that way. I kind of like to do that just so I can see all the edges, and I do like to put a dark piece underneath. It makes it easier to see. So I know on screen it's easier because otherwise it would look like that and it's a little harder to see. So I like to put a dark, but I also like to do it myself because I like to see my edges. And so we're just gonna go ahead and drop that right there, wiggle it right into the place where I want it. That looks about good right there. Now you can push that down. All right, and now we're going to do the top part. So I'm going to do glue. Now when this box, this card has all your flowers and stuff on it, you are going to want to, you're going to have to kind of adjust this to get it to stand, but it does stand even with your product on there. Okay, so this one I'm going to turn down a little bit. And I'm looking mainly at the top because I know it's going to be fine there. So I'm looking at the sides and the top. And you also want your pink here to line up. Okay, so it should line up. And now I'm going to hold it up. That's fine. And so I'm just going to push that and put that there. All right, now we can set that aside and let's do some stamping. All right, so we have the word... the words "have the best day" is what I chose for this. And we're going to use our blueberry bushel. So let's get our stamping going here. I told my husband, when you come home for lunch, remember, I am recording a video, so we'll see if he remembers. I had a serviceman come today. There we go. Have the best day. And so he put me a little off track. I was going to start the class first thing this morning, and he couldn't come yesterday. So he's like, I can come tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So he just left. So we have solar panels on our house, and we have a ponding basin behind us. which is taken care of by the city, and so they do the abatement and all that. We have no issues with critters or anything. The only issue we do have are the darn pigeons that like to go underneath our solar panels. All right, so this is going to go, you want the 2 big leaves this way. Okay, so you want as much on your card as you can so that when you close your card and mail it, that everything is within your base, but don't put that on yet. So that's going to go that way. We have the large leaf that we added just right here to add a little leaf there. And then I am noticing, wait, where did my, and then we have a blue leaf right here. So we're going to put our blue leaf. And this is why I like to do the videos ahead of time. Apparently I didn't put them in your kit, but I will be tossing it in your envelope. So make sure you find that blue leaf in your envelope. All right, now what we're going to do, we have our flower and we have this one. So these are going to use dimensionals. Let me find my large dimensionals here. So let's put that on. We have our dimensional and this one. Oh, you know what? I need to wipe off I use alcohol a lot for my tools. This is what I was cleaning my glue out with. I use this for everything, so I like to just clean it off with a little bit of alcohol. Get all the glue off. Well, it's not all off, but it sure is a lot better. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. All right. Now, we have our flowers, our sentiment. So our sentiment is going to have our dimensionals. I just do 3. And we're going to go ahead and put that on. And this just goes right here, just a little ways on the inside. You want to be able to see your pretty leaves. And you can do it, so if you look here, it's kind of not necessarily halfway. I did it up a little bit. So if you look right here, I went up a little ways. That way you can see it, and then that way you give your flower some room over to the side. So we're going to put this on right about there. And I just look right across the top just to make sure that's even. We're going to take this and lay it right here. So I'm going to put my dimensional here, but towards the top part. All right, so we're going to bring that in right about, you want this to be down. Okay, so right about there. Because you want to be able to put your card in your envelope, okay? So there's that. I'm going to do the butterflies last. But next, we want to take our ribbon and do a bow. So I went through here. And then I'm going to come over to the side here. And you can twist it after you make your bow. Okay, I'm going to do my bow here. I love this mesh ribbon. It just adds so much. And you'll see as you're going along through these projects where I put it in. Okay, I'm going to bring my bow and make it kind of small, and then just kind of grab it and make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and we'll get it all fluffed up, and then you can trim the tails and everything in just a little bit. All right, so there's that. You can squish this down, or you can leave it up. You can do whatever you want to. I kind of like seeing all the pretty gold, so I'm going to leave that there for now. Again, let's take our larger piece. And what I did is I went right with the bow right above that. Okay, so I did the bow right above that gold piece right there. So let's go ahead. What you can do is lay that down, and you're going to notice pretty much everything is on top that you can add a dimensional to. So let's add our dimensionals. Oops, we'll grab that one. We'll just stick this guy in the middle because I took the top off of it already. And so I just kind of, and I think that's plenty to hold it. Oops. All right, again, so now we have our gold bow. Our 2 leaves are at the top. We're going to go right below our gold and go right there. We're going to put a dimensional on both of our leaves because we like things popped up, right? And I'm going to go towards the top, like not like 2/3 up, because this is going to be tucked under, so it really doesn't matter. But I want the top part to have the adhesive on it. But you don't want to go all the way to the top, especially here, because this is sticking out right here. And you want to make sure that your dimensional is going to be adhered, okay? So when you close it, it's still within your card base. Look how pretty this is. It's coming right along. Okay, same here. We're going to tuck this in. And I kind of angled it up a little bit. Make sure it's going to close okay. And I did it right about there. I'm going to trim this little piece off right here. I don't want them too long. All right, so there's our pretty bow. And now we need our flowers. All right, and I just kind of stuck I want to see all 3 of those, so I just kind of stuck it right here. It covers a little of the leaf, but you can still see the flowers. And then right here, there's like a blue area, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick that right over here, kind of in between all of those, that space, all right? All right, let's clean that off. All right, now we need our butterflies, and this card's done. So I took the large one and I put it here because I wanted to be able to really see it. And then we're going to take the small one, and I just kind of added it here to the sentiment. Oh, I think I turned it inward a little bit. There we go. All right, so that is card number 1. So it's the double box fancy fold. So you want to fold it up this way because this is the measurement here that's going to be your 5.5. If you fold it out, it's going to be a lot longer card and you're not going to be able to fit it in a regular envelope. So totally up to you. You could also make this longer if you wanted and make it a much bigger panel on the front. Just totally up to you. This ribbon is so easy. It just smooshes right in and pops right back up. So this does not add much bulk at all. And it's really a fairly flat card. If you think about it, you have your panel, your top of your card with your panel, and then 2 popped up images, which are DSP, so they're very thin. So it's really a nice flat card. So there you go, card number 1. Yay! Okay, so let's move on to card number 2. And card number 2 is, I'm providing an envelope with you also because it is a larger card, 6x6. And there's your sentiment. And it just folds right up and sits right up. So it's really a nice, fun card that has a lot of, just screams happy birthday, which I love. There was really no need to put a sentiment on the front. I mean, this could be a beautiful anniversary card too. So totally up to you what you are wanting. All right, so let's get these. These are the easier cards. I'm going to let you know that there are some cards that are going to be more detailed for sure. So those will be coming your way. So I'm just going to set my card up in front of me over here. And let's start. We're going to move the envelope out of the way. If I give you an odd size card, I try to provide envelopes for you. So you do have an envelope to match this. This is with the stitched rectangles, and it tells you what size and everything. And then again, the same embossing folder. This is going to be the inside of your card. So we're going to stamp our happy birthday. This is going to be the right side, and our balloons will go onto that. we'll set that over. But let's start with our card bases first. Okay. And then don't forget, don't lose your little flower right here. Okay. All right, so you're going to have 2 card bases that are 6 by 6 and they are not folded. Then you're going to have 2 that are folded the same way. Okay, so you're going to have a smaller portion here and here, and then a larger portion here. So let's start with our smaller portion on the left, and we are going to score those. Remember, the valley is on the outside. That's where the valley is right here. The mountain part is on the inside. Okay, so this is going to be attached to the card base. This is going to be your folding spot. This is going to be attached to the top. So get those scored. Okay, so this one will go here. You want the folds below the large part on the top. And then we'll do the same for this side. So just get those scored again. This is going to go like this. All right, and then your flat side here. All right, now we're going to take one of your 6 by 6, the flat ones, and we are going to attach it right here. Okay, so attach this right here. Again, I'm going to do liquid because this is kind of a larger panel, and I want to slide it into place and get it to be exactly where I want it. Whereas if we use seal, you know, it pretty much likes to grab where you set it down. So let's put this in here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. We're going to lay that there. And then this is going to go right on the edge and right up to the edge. Okay. All right, so just that first piece right here is glued. All right, and now we're going to do the same for this side. So just move that over. Now we're going to glue this one and get our card base put together. All right, so this is going to go this way. Once you get it in one spot, just kind of hold it with your thumb. I want to get it down there. And then just line it up. All right? And just make sure, kind of close it. And make sure you should have them go right to each other like that. And it should be straight on the top and on the bottom. So make sure your pieces are there. Okay, see? Okay, so there's your card. It's going to open like that. So before we put the top on, let's go ahead and add our panels on the inside. So we're going to take this piece here, and this is where we're going to do our happy birthday. It's all in Blueberry Bushel because I thought that was such a fun card accent color because I wanted it to be a little brighter. So we have happy and birthday here. So it's going to be like happy and then birthday. So happy we're going to squeeze in and find our spot after we stamp our birthday. So I'm going to just put this straight, and I'm going to put this straight right on top of it. We can move that. I did Coastal Cabana on this panel first, on this card, but then I thought I really liked the look of the pool party, and I'll tell you why. Because this one happened to have the darker Coastal Cabana on it. This is that ombre paper, that new one that we have, and which is fine, but a lot of the card bases will always have the pool party on it. So some of them are just the pool party. So here's the lighter pool party and then Coastal Cabana down here. But some of you may just get, like, see, this is a better look at it. And then, oh, I should have mentioned, cut your square. I cut them out of this because I'm going to try to save anytime I do glimmer paper or anything. If it's not going to affect the card in any way, I will cut it out and save it from there. But see how it's ombre? So a lot of people have the lighter, and so I just went with the Pool Party. So that's what I decided to do. All right, so let's see if I pull my, I'm going to just wipe it off really quickly. We're going to do birthday. And I'm just going to do it right about here. I don't want to do it too close to the top. We need to add our happy in there, right? But also, you want to give it a little bit of space up there, but you want to have enough room to write on. All right, so there's our birthday. And now we need our happy. And I'm just going to just kind of tuck it right in there. And the T kind of goes right between the P and the Y. And you can just kind of make it snug like that right there. All right, so there is our sentiment. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to actually use seal this time to put this on, because we're just doing cardstock to cardstock. Do whatever, obviously, adhesive you enjoy and like using. Uh-oh. I like to hold the sides up and just kind of eyeball it. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and add that on the inside here. And I'm just going to use the seal again. Oh, this one, that one, you know how sometimes you just get one that gives you trouble, and that one I've fixed multiple times. All right, so there we go. So let's add this in the center. Again, I like having that silicone mat underneath. I use my silicone mat a lot. And not necessarily just for glue. Oh, I don't know what I got right there. Not necessarily for glue, but for to have on my background for my dark. I use that more than my piercing mat. I mean, everything has its perfect use, but I tend to do my adhesive mat a lot. It's so hard to glue on the reverse side of this paper because it's so pretty. Okay, let me move my, okay. Sorry, my volume thing was in the way, when I muted it, was in the way of my video. That's how I can check and make sure it's still going. All right. We have a storm that just started. It is pouring rain outside. And I just had our service guy. Oh, I was telling you about our service guy. He is, boy, this is just, okay. This is how we're going to fix our glue. Something's going on with my glue bottle. So I don't know if it's got a clog in there or what. So what I do is I take my needle and I go back the opposite way from the inside. There's got to be something going on right here. And then if I go through the needle, there's usually, I just go through a couple times because sometimes it's got little like bits of dry glue. See how it's like getting dry glue in and out of there? Sometimes it comes out the top like that, and then sometimes it comes out the bottom. So I just want to make sure that my glue is going to come out a little easier, or my hand is really going to hurt by the end of this. All right, let's see if that got any better. And yeah, so it's pouring now, but the service guy that came, he came because he's going to put screens up around our solar panels. Just because our pigeons, we get pigeons from the ponding basin. Oh, that's better. The ponding basin behind us. And they just, they act like our solar panels are their hotel. All right. So we're going to add some of our pink plaid here. Just kind of get that straight. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our balloons, and they are glued down. Remember that this is a little bit of a larger card. We've got this popped up. We've got some other thick layers. And so I chose not to pop it up because I want to make sure my card will go in the mail with not a whole lot of extra postage. So I'm just going to glue this down right here and just glue it right there. All right, now we're going to add our seal and add that panel. All of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, I've got to glue that, but no, it's the other side. All right, so there we go. Now, when you glue this down, you kind of want to look at your panel here to here and make sure that they're lining up fairly closely. Okay, so that they look like they're together here. Now here, we're going to add our other 6x6 panel right here. But I'm going to work on this first. I like to work on the panels before I attach those. I'm going to kind of work on it here. So we are going to add our piece here on here. But let me show you what I'm going to do. I am going to do seal around the outside. Because we have that open space, we're going to be able to add glue there. So I don't want to worry about the glue around the outside, so I just did that. But we're going to put glue just around the inside here. Oh wow, look how much easier this is to use. All right, so we have our, the main reason we use it liquid glue is because we want to make sure it adheres to the glitter. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this here and add it onto our project like this, and you get a nice pretty border. I went in on the size of the paper some because I wanted to really see the glimmer. All right, so there's that. And before we adhere it to our panel, we are going to add some glue right here. Just a little bit. Oh, but obviously we need it here too. All right, there we go. All right, so it's going to go just and this is where I like the liquid glue. You can wiggle it and get it right about where you want it. All right, so now everything is good. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add this to our panel right here. So obviously don't put your glue here. Let's do it here. And I like to use liquid again so I can wiggle it into the, I want to make sure it's corner to corner. So I'm going to go close to the edges. I like to do it in a zigzag a lot of times because it gives you a little more space and it doesn't ooze out the side as much. So we're going to do it like that. And because we're just going corner to corner, we're not really centering or have to look at anything else. We're going to lay that down here so I can see it. Make sure your panel is right side up and your cakes are facing the right way. And I'm going to go there to there. All right. And just make sure you have your corner to corner. Make sure it's not sliding over too much. You can check here. Make sure your card is straight. All right, so there we go. So there is that. So there's our card that folds nice and straight. Okay, there's your panel. All right, so now the rectangle that I took out of the center, and I write it down on the thing on which one it is, so you'll have that. Let's go ahead and glue this down. Again, we're doing embossed to glitter, to glimmer paper. Anytime you have glimmer or embossed, you want to use liquid. Sometimes you'll see me on a video using seal, but I always add a little liquid, but it just helps with it being faster and drier for video purposes, but I always try to add some liquid on there to make sure it's not going anywhere. All right, now before we add the cake, we want to add our ribbon. I'm on video, honey. Thank you. My hubby brought me a flower. I told him last night, and he's like, oh, I'll remember. I said, okay. All right, we're going to add this around here. Let's go ahead and add our dimensionals. Now remember, this is DSP, so I kind of put a little more on here just to kind of secure the image. I'm going to do little mini ones right here. And then I'm going to take a strip. If you have a strip, now I tend to not use the strip of adhesive just because I think they're a different height, or sometimes I should say they come in as a different height than these, and so I don't want it higher or lower. I like everything to be flat, and so I'm just going to add a piece right there. Okay, now your ribbon is going to go underneath this, but it's so thin it really doesn't matter. Okay, oops. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to take our piece and we're going to go ahead and put our cake on, but you want to do it very lightly. You want to adhere this one really well. The rest, just let them lay while you're doing your ribbon, because we need to put, and you don't even have to take those off. Watch, we can leave those on for right now. All right, let's put our cake on there. We want it just about in the middle, so just kind of drop it so you can see the sides. That looks good. All right, we're going to adhere those, which is fine. These we did not adhere. That's where you want your ribbon to go. So let's go ahead and add our ribbon underneath here. Okay. I want it kind of squishy, but not, you know, I want it to see it there. If it's too big, it's not gonna, you're not gonna have a whole lot of room. You also want to make sure your bow is where you want it. And you, by not putting your dimensional, taking those off right now, you can, you know, have a little wiggle space. But I've made your ribbon long enough to kind of give you enough to kind of mess with it and get it, you know, where you want it. All right, so we're going to do it right at the base of the cake. So I'm going to have my ribbon go right about there. I'm going to tuck that in. I want it under. Let's do our bow. Remember, you're going to make it small, and then you can kind of make it a little bit bigger. All right, bring it back in. I don't need this right now. All right, so we can puff up our bow. It'll kind of double over, so just kind of grab a little end of it and just kind of lightly pull on it, and you'll puff up your bow a little bit. All right, so there's your bow. Perfect. All right, I'm going to cut this. I don't need it that big. You can angle it or you can just cut it. It doesn't really matter because you can't it doesn't really show an angle that well, so it doesn't really matter. I have my heater on in here. Now it's getting warm. All right. And I think this is still a little bit big. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit because I don't want it to overshadow the cake, right? It's just kind of a decor. So just kind of bring it down to the size that you're happy with. And you might not cut it until you get it on your card and see what you want. This little guy right here, I wanted to add a little dimension for my cake. So I'm going to add another dimensional right there. I'm going to add a large one, and we're just going to add that right here on the cake. Yay! All right, we're going to bring this in. You know what? I was just thinking of something. No. Okay. I thought I forgot the the embellishments on the other card, but we put the butterflies. All right, so that's going to go right here. This will get popped up. So let's go ahead and add our dimensionals. I go in a little bit on the inside, just mainly for support. One in the middle just isn't enough for me. I like to add two just so it gives it a little extra. On the sides, you don't want it caving in over here either. So I kind of, see, you can tell I'm warm. Look at how light my polish is on this hand. This hand's warmer than this one. It's fun, but it kind of drives me crazy sometimes. Because I'm like, oh, if people don't know that it's color changing, they're like, wow, her polish is crazy. Why does she have two different kind on? All right, so let's put this in the center. Right about there. I eyeball it. If you want to measure it, you can. All right, there's that. And now the only thing left for us to do is you're going to see that I gave you a package of party dots. So just take some party dots. Oh, let's not forget our dimensional backings here. That one and this one. So just lay that down. There we go. Okay, so don't forget to take those off. You're going to notice because this bow's going to kind of make it stick up. All right, so I did a large one down here. And I did a large and a small here. It's a big card. I'm going to do a small one. I'm going to put it right here. And another small one. I'm going to put it right on that star. If they can fit on a star and they go on a star, then that's where I put them. So there we go. I just did a few. So that is card number 2. And then you have your envelope. Now, if you wanted to, I did not. I used a ton of paper for these kits, and I didn't have enough to do the envelopes because I had so much paper, so many packages to do my kits. And honestly, I was like, oh, I should have bought more to do the envelopes. But if you have this, especially if you purchase the kit or the suite to get the class for free, you have some paper. Add it on your envelope. It'll be so cute. The other thing you could do is you could stamp on here. You have like a banner. You could stamp the banner. You've got some flowers you could just do for you. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do for the envelope. So don't forget that. So there we go. So that is card number 2. All right, card number 3, we are going to be getting a little complicated. Let me switch my page here because this card is definitely a fancy fold. I saw this card from Wendy Cranford. I saw it on her page. I've seen this card all over the place, but I did look it up closely, and I think she had done a video on it. But this card is so much fun. This was the first card that I did. And I was like, ooh, okay, this is too much for bingo. So I was like, okay, this can't be for bingo. So I decided, all right, well, maybe it'll be one of my swaps. But then I decided, no. They're really thick, and for me to get I'm flying and I want to be able to bring my toothbrush. So I decided, okay, this isn't going to be a swap, but we're going to do it in a class. So this is what started my class. All right, so let's get started with this card, which is project number 3. All right, now this one, there's going to be a little more work to do because there was something I couldn't do for you. So I'm going to share that with you. So let's go ahead and start with moving our ribbon over. Let's keep our 2 white labels. This one's from Nested Essentials. This one's from Mixed Labels, I believe. So there are those. And then we are going to move let's keep all of the flowers together, the balloons, all the ephemera type pieces over to the side. And we'll keep everything else right here. But let's start doing our sentiments. So we're going to do Make a Wish on the front. And then on the inside, we're doing Happy Birthday. And that is in Pretty in Pink and Blueberry Bushel. All right, so we have Blueberry Bushel first. And we're going to do Make a Wish. All right, so let's wipe this one off. My thing is not wet anymore. Let me see. I'm trying to find my spray bottle here that I could add a little water to it. Here we go. We'll add a little water to it. Okay. There we go. I'm just finding that I'm realizing that things just stamp so much nicer when I wipe them off and they don't dry with the water or baby wipe or whatever you have on it. It just takes all the dry, you know how things dry on glass, and it just, to me, that's kind of what I think that's been happening. Oh, wrong one. All right, here we go. So let's put this here and do this right in the middle. Make a wish. All right, so there's our Make a Wish. And now we're doing Happy Birthday. And birthday will be in Berry Bushel. So we're going to do that first. I do the larger one first. Just because the happy can kind of snug into the right with it. We're going to do that right here. All right, so there's our birthday. I love this color, and it is so fun to play with. It's just bright and cheerful. All right, now we need our Pretty in Pink to do our happy. I'm going to make sure that this is wiped off. I don't want any berry bushel on it. Blueberry bushel, I guess I should say. All right, Pretty in Pink. Again, I'm going to make it snug, but not quite as snug. We have plenty of space up there. And do our Happy Birthday. And we'll set that aside. All right, so now we are going to work on our panels. You're going to have a lot of panels. Don't worry about these two. We'll set those aside. Let's take our DSP. Oops, you do have butterflies in here, so I think you have one large one, if I remember right. One large one. All right, so let's get our card base. All right, so we have this card base that has a lip right here, okay? And then you have this one that does not, all right? So let's take a look at the card. So you're going to open the card and you're going to notice right here is where you're going to glue that on the back, okay? So this is where that is. This is going to glue right here, and your cards are going to go like this. So your cards are like this, okay? So this is where that one is. It's going to go right on the back, right there. Okay, right here. So it's going to be on the back side. So this is going to glue right here, and then this is going to bend. So go ahead and bend that over and score it. It'll also help you see that line, okay? And now your glue is going to go on the inside. What I recommend is, I don't know, I'm sure I did it, yeah. You're going to wedge this. So just give it a little bit of a wedge. That way it does not appear above or below your card when you glue these together. It just kind of helps you. And I use liquid because it holds really well. Okay, so there's our liquid. And then we're going to take this and go right up to it. All right, so there's that. You want to make sure that this folds over and is straight. Okay, so make sure your two cards are straight, not sideways. You want them to be nice and straight up against each other. All right, and then that is where that fold is going to go. Oops. There we go. All right, so there we go. So you want to make sure it's nice and straight, and there's where your card is going to go, because your card is going to fold like this. Okay, so that is your first card base right here. All right, the next thing you want to do is we are going to set this aside. You're going to bring in your smaller one, okay, and we're going to go ahead and decorate this. So I like to score them. So remember, Valley's on the outside. Let's see, yeah. Okay, so it's scored like that. All right, same with this one. You're going to score it inward. And inward here. All right, so these are going to glue onto the other card, but we need to get, okay, so this is going to go inward. All right. All right, so there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and layer our centerpieces up and take care of those. So you're going to bring in your large, you need 5 of the large ones, the outside of your card, the 2 insides of your card. Wait a minute. 1 second. Okay, the other packages have the right number. For some reason, the one I just grabbed did not, so that's not good. But, all right, so let me make sure. 1, 2, yeah. So you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 panels, okay? So you have your 5 panels for your large, so you're going to move those over. You need 2 panels for here. You're going to take your DSP. You're going to have 2 panels there. That goes under this on the front. Okay. One of these, let me see what we have here. This one here, the thin one. Okay, so look at these. You have 2 of these, which are going to go here. Okay. And then the thinner, longer one is the one that's going to go with this. And just set those aside. All right, then these go over here. And then this goes here and here. And you can adjust your flowers however you want to. Okay, so you're like, if you want to turn them or make them go, you know, whichever way is up to you. You'll have 5 of these and they'll go with that. So set those aside. Let's go ahead and adhere these together. And we'll add those to our panel. Okay. And I did leave a little extra of the blue. I really liked seeing the blue. So when you open the card, it really makes it pop. If you would have done the paper really close to the edge, then it wouldn't have popped as much as if you leave a good size on the edges. So it really doesn't matter which way it goes. I've turned and tossed these papers so many times, and it's really great paper because it can go anyway, which I love. All right, so let's put those in the middle. I like to pick them up sometimes and just kind of, I can see them a little bit better and kind of eyeball. And then I just kind of ooze them. I just kind of wiggle them over to where I want them. All right, so that's one. I don't need that. A lot of people say, why don't you send out the kits ahead of time so people can do bingo while I'm doing bingo? And that is just too... Bingo takes a long time as it is, and everybody's on different levels of stamping, and we don't have time to stop and ask questions and answer questions. I obviously am always available to answer questions after the fact or when you're working on your class or whatever. I can help. So please don't hesitate to ask. But I like the fact that I do it ahead of time. I make sure nothing's missing, and there's no that you're not having any issues with that. Okay, so I did a little boo-boo. So this on the left one, you're going to have this go right on top of it. I usually like to do that ahead of time to make sure everything fit. It looks like the blue is going to fit perfectly fine. This is going to probably need to be trimmed a tiny bit. So let's just add that. Alright, so that is going to go there. And I did it edge to edge. So a lot of times I just hold it up and get it to the edge. And get that even. And this side actually looks like where I trimmed it. And you might want to check those because this came out of the little label section. And so I went over a tiny bit and got probably the little color of the one next to it. So just kind of, triple check that. Make sure it's okay. And we're just going to add that on here. And I did not pop that up because I did pop up the little cupcakes that go on top. All right, so we're going to put that on here. And I put it down a little ways because when you look, your cupcakes, as soon as I find them here, are going to pop up here. So you want to have some room for your candles and stuff up above. All right, so there's that. This one, okay, this one and this one. This one has the happy birthday on it. This one has the cupcakes. We'll fix that in a minute. Let's go ahead and adhere them to our panel. Now, if you wanted to put it together and then adhere all your pieces, you could do that too. But the panel, you cannot add this until you're done doing the front one. Okay, let's add our silicone mat so I can see a little better. I like to just get a good, see how it helps with the dark behind it? It just really helps see what your borders are, where you want to and need to put this. Now you see how I went way too close over on this side. So let me show you what I do in that case. Okay, so this is going to go this way. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to put this down first and slide it, and then I just pick it up. I'm just getting that big extra chunk off right there. And now I'm going to just kind of center this where I want it. Up, down, left, right. Okay, so there's that one. So if I put too much, I just slide it on where it needs to go and it'll be fine. So now I just kind of, doesn't really matter. It's going to be covered up with the label for the most part anyway, but I want these to line up. So when you put them on, kind of give your same spacing, kind of make sure your top and bottom lines look really close to the same. All right. That's good. We're going to take this panel, pop it up. All right, so even more reason not to pop that up because you're popping this up and the flower. So it's totally up to you. In fact, I'm kind of thinking, oh, hello, that we're not going to pop the flower up. I did on this, but look how thick it kind of makes. So I'm thinking on this flower right here, we don't pop it up. I definitely wanted the cupcakes popped up, but I'm thinking that flower, we don't need to. So we're not going to. So let's put this on here. And it really kind of goes right in the middle. And you think, oh, you know what? You don't even see that DSP. Do you need it on there? Well, yeah, because you still get to see it a little bit. Can you imagine if that was just blue? It just wouldn't be as pretty. But we are adding this flower on here. And I am going to do it straight on instead of gluing it. And I'm doing it towards the bottom because that is where this is going to snug right into your sentiment. And it looks like I could have gone all the way to the top, but it's okay. It's going to hold, so that I think looks fine. We're going to do our cupcakes here. We are going to do our flowers for our cupcakes. So we have one. Where's my other little flower? Okay, so you want to do your flowers. You're going to do 2 on the inside and 1 on the outside. So make sure you do 2 different ones on the inside. The other one goes on the outside. Okay, so whatever colors you have, I'm going to put the yellow on that one. I'm going to put, let's see, the pink on that one, the yellow on that one, yeah. And we're going to glue those directly on. We don't want these popped up either. And I just put those right on the front of the cupcake, so it kind of looks like it's part of the cupcake holder, but it also looks like you could have just stuck a little flower there, like it's a, you know, for a birthday or a wedding or whatever. You know how they do. They add flowers and stuff on there. So I just did it in the middle. If you wanted to do it, actually I did this one sideways. I did one of them to the side. This one's probably already stuck. So twist it. If you're going to move anything, twist it. I'm going to move it over that way. And now I'm going to take my tool and take off that extra glue right there. There. I did one sideways and I did one in the middle, just so it looked a little different. We are going to pop up the cakes. Now, I did try to put a dimensional on the, I'm going to do 2. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take these 2 right here and I'm going to cut them in half. I did try to put a dimensional right there on the candle, and when you're opening and closing this, look what's happening. When you're this gets stuck on it, and so I don't know about putting a dimensional on that. I'm kind of thinking it's probably easier if it's not. It might catch on it, but it's not going to, and you may want to go glue it directly down, but at least it's not going to roll and stay there and look kind of weird, but that's kind of my thought anyway. All right. let's add this piece. We don't want to forget our other last panel. All right, especially when I have to go under the flowers right there. All right, again, you're looking at your lines, making sure that the lines are straight. Everything looks okay. Let's go ahead and add our cupcakes now. All right, we can add one there. I just laid it there. I'm not going to stick it. I want to make sure my spacing looks okay. All right. And we're going to lay that one right about there. Yep, that's fine. All right, so there's that. So let's now set that aside. Now we're going to come in with our panels. And we can go ahead and put all these on. All right, there's one. So I hope you guys like the fact that I'm going to give you a 5th card, but that card will be, I'm going to do a video on it, but that's like my thank you project to you. Instead of me creating the cards, because let me tell you, I really enjoy making classes. It's so much fun. It gives me more time to play with product and coming up with different ideas versus making a ton of thank you cards, because I have been making, my husband says I'm nuts, but I have been making over 200 thank you cards on my own. I do have help with some die cutting from Stephanie, but usually the thank you cards I pretty much do myself because she does help with my class and my bingo stuff with cutting out. I do all the creating. She'll do the die cut, like the labels and stuff. I do usually all the paper and all the designing and stuff, but I want to design more. And so I'm thinking, what am I going to do? How can I change to where I can offer more classes and more, I mean, I may even start another video like during the day. And so I was trying to think of what I could do. And so I'm going to make a few changes, but with my classes, I've decided I don't want to not do a card. But then I thought, well, what if I do a card with the product and I give you the product and then I create a video with that, so then you can have that product to create that video. And it's going to be, it will be a fancy fold for this class, but it will be, you know, a card in it. That way it's not always a thank you card. You could do whatever you want with it. And I just think it'll be a fun way that, you know, I'm still thanking you, but you guys get a card and to do something fun with it. And there we go. Oh, maybe I did do one too. Oh, no, right here. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, there we go. So that's what it's going to be. We need to glue them all on. Okay, so what you're going to notice here is these rectangles. All right, if you do not have the stitched rectangles, then you can use just cut that out. And the measurement will be, I think I might have written it down on the thing, but it is, your spacing is going to be 1 1/4 inch by 3 3/8 is what I have. Okay, 1 1/4 by 3, well, it's 1 1/4 by 3 1/4, I guess, if you're going on the inside. So that is what you will do to cut these two right here, and you need them to line up. So they are 1 inch from the outside of the card. Okay, so if you wanted to start 1 inch from the outside and you're going about a 1/2 inch up and down. So a 1/2 inch up and down and 1 inch, did I say 1 inch? Yeah, 1 inch in. And then you're going to be putting that. So, but the rectangles is the way I did it. The hard part is you're going through a lot of space doing it. Okay, so I'm going to show you on this how we're going to do it. So let's go ahead and add our panels first. All right, so we're going to add all of our panels. That was the hard part for me, is doing the spacing. Okay, let's bring this in. Doing, not the spacing, it's going back and forth on your cut and emboss to get everything to line up. Not line up, but go through. I'll show you a little secret on the lining up part. All right, so let's see. I'm turning it up and down, and it really doesn't matter. But I'm looking at these right here. The other ones look like they don't matter, but those kind of look like they matter a little bit. All right, so there we go. Now remember, we want them to go in a line, so make sure that your spacing is pretty close. All right, so there is the next one. So just again, look at the lines, make sure that they're close enough. Isn't this paper just absolutely gorgeous? And what's fun with this class is every paper is gorgeous. So while I was going along and I used all of the blue background, I was like, oh no, I want some other paper, you know, for this or that. And every paper is just so pretty. I did not have any issue with saying, oh, but I want to use that paper instead. Nope, all of them were great. Okay, there's another one. And now we have our last one. Every one of the papers, even the reverse side. So if you noticed on that last card, the first card I did, we used the pretty green leaves on that paper, those green leaves, and that was a reverse side. I wanted something soft, and it worked out great. All right, so we're going to put this one on here. Again, spacing. Great. All right, so there's our card base. All right, so this is the front. It's going to go like this. This is where we need our pieces. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my stitched rectangle is what I used. And I believe it's this one, but let me just triple check. It is not that one. It is this one. All right, so it's the second from the largest of the longer, thinner rectangles. Okay, this is the one I used. It's the, and I will double check on my PDF what I wrote, but it is going to be I might have said the second one in, and that's why I was thinking it was this one, but it's the second one in from the long, thinner ones. Okay, so it's that one. All right, so we're going to use that. And what we're going to do is we're going to go 1 inch in. All right, so remember, it's these two center ones right here, okay? So we're going to go 1 inch in. So there's from the center, 1 inch in. So we're going to go right here. Okay, now remember, it's 1 inch into the cut. So I'm just going to slide this just under right here. And I eyeballed it. If you look at the spacing with your paper, I mean, it kind of gives you right to there, which is the 1/2 inch, which is what we said. So I eyeballed it. That's fine. I am going to take my tape and I am going to tape here. And I'll be honest, I think I tried doing them both at the same time, but I have a better idea. So we're going to slide this in my machine like this and cut this out. As soon as I move the carnation out of the way that my hubby brought. All right, so I'm just rolling it through, and I'm going to bring it back through a couple times, okay, because we have 2 cardstocks and 1 DSP to go through, okay? So let's see how that worked. And I'll be honest, this is really, really the most difficult part. So I put that through. Okay, now if you wanted to, I could take this off now, and now I have my cut line. So I can put it in my trimmer. So let's go ahead. Okay, this is what I actually did do with my other one. I'm going to take this off. Okay. Take it off carefully with your tape, because this is DSP, and because you put it on and off so many times, through so many times, you don't want your tape to cut your paper. Okay, and I'm going to have to use my glue thing here, because the tape glue really stuck on there. Okay. All right, so this is see, it did not go through, but it did over here. So we still have our pretty stitch lines right there. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer. Now, like I said, this is the tricky part of all this. If you wanted to go back through again, you could probably go back through again and it'll cut. But I'm just going to come through here, and I am going to look at my line. Push this up. I'm going to look at my line right here, and I am going to put it right inside, and you can feel when it drops in there. And I'm going to go right inside my piece here. Okay, and I'm going to cut right to that line. You want to make sure you're cutting right. It'll drop right in there. It's a little hard. Not gonna lie. It's tricky. And then go up to that next line, back down. Okay, so there's the one line. And I still feel like it hasn't go through. What did I do? I'm going to try the machine again, because I think that's what I did. And this is the part that is, it's a struggle. So if you're on your what we're going to do is we'll do this one this way, and then we'll do this one with just the machine. Just the cutter, because I think that's going to be easier. But I'm going to go back through, and I may have even turned over the die on the back side. I don't remember. But it was a lot of machine. I remember I put it back and forth through this multiple times to get it to cut. And of course, it's not. All right, so we're going to go back to this. Well, this is not the best, right? I remember this being a pain. So, okay, we're going to go back here, and we're going to cut the other one. See, it's coming up. So this one comes up, and then I have glue right there. The other thing that I forgot to say is sometimes you want to put a little bit of glue right here. Like you have glue here, but you might want to put one down the middle so that you have that extra glue there. But I also just used liquid glue. All right, so now that's done. Put your blade in, slide it over. You can kind of feel where it goes. Oh, my on screen. Here we go. All right, so look at your line. And then I just went up. I also took scissors. So I'm going to show you all the different ways I did it. I took scissors, and I also went through and cut it, so whatever works for you. Because when you go back, you can't really go this way, but we're going to go and do the other side. So classes are all about teaching, right? So the hard part is when I did this card, I was like, holy moly. But when it's done, it is great. Now, if somebody has a better way to do this, I should have looked online to see if somebody had a better way, because this is how I did it. And then you can take an X-Acto knife or something too if you wanted, if that's easier. I don't have one at my fingertips. But if you wanted to do an X-Acto knife, you can come back in and do that. But, you know, whatever you want. I like the stitching on it. So adding the stitching, so you can see your die stitching right there. I liked that so that you could see your stitching. It gives it, you know, some design. So I'm going to do this with my scissors right here. Because I wish I had my X-Acto knife right here. Let me just take a glance. Because I don't think I have it right here. Oh. I think I might. I have an old one. Let's see if it'll work. All right, so here's one. So you can use an X-Acto knife or put your scissors in there and use it. And you're taking the part out that's not, it looks like it's the stitching part, but it's the inside of the rectangle. Okay, so there's that. And so see how close it is to being done? It's so close, but yet not as close as you would want it. Okay, so there's that. And I actually like the stitching, so I'm going to do that again. Except I took a little bit of the blue, which is fine. There we go. All right. Now, what you want to do is, because I didn't add adhesive right there, I'm going to take my glue and just run a little line right there. Okay, and just line that right there, because this one has adhesive towards the edge. This one didn't. All right, so this one we're going to do the same thing because I want the stitching. Now what you could do is you could go this way, and I'm going to put this on the inside. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and it doesn't have to be exact, it just has to be really close, right? So let's put this on the inside. I did not do this last time, but I think this is kind of a better way to do it. All right, so you can tape that down. I'm going to move this side in just a bit. So, okay, there we go. See? And that's where I'm going to do it. But I'm going to do it from the back side instead of the DSP side first. And let's see if that works. Okay, so we'll do the back side first and go through once. Just go through and back. Just to kind of help us cut that back side. All right, so there we are, through and back one time. All right, so we're going to take this off. I forgot that this was such a pain. All right, so look at our white is off, except where we have our adhesive, which is fine because that blue has to come out. All right, and now we can turn this over, and you can see where it goes. You can see right where the lines are. Well, this is much better. All right, you can see right where the lines go. Again, your top and bottom are really close to even. This looks the same as that over there. And we're going to run it through. And this should be much easier. So I went through once and back through. All right, and now, yay, so that's the secret. Go through the back once, and then bring it back through, and then, of course, you're going to have to trim your little bit of blue right there that likes to stick. All right, so here we go. All right, so there we go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is add my adhesive over here. There's a little blue. I'm just going to trim that little piece. Okay, and there's a little blue right here. Okay, now I'm going to add So now we have our two. So I would go through the back once just to break off the white, and then the other two will come off. So yay, that was much easier. Okay, so now we're going to add our adhesive right here because we did it on this side. Just add a little glue there. I'm going to take my glue eraser on the side now and just take off my tape from my tape. All right. All right. Now what's going to happen is this is going to go through here. All right. And then this, so if you look, this is going to go through here like this. This is going to come up. So watch. See how these come even, okay, to the center. All right. And then these go out. So this is going to come up to the center like this. All right. And then this is going to go right here. All right. So see how it's right there? So I'm centering this top and bottom and this rectangle that we just did. See? So put that there. And now we're going to add our glue just on that little panel right there. All right, so it's in the center for the most part. Move it down just a tad. Make sure this is very close to the center. It doesn't have to be all the way up, but as long as this is going to close. Okay, so there's that side. All right, so that's that side. And then this one, same thing. Add glue just on this white. Lift it up because you don't want to get it on there. All right, and then we're going to close this one and put that there. All right, so we'll let that set for just a minute. I'm going to add that on here. I'm going to grab a tissue. Hold on. And there is one, oh, here it is. There's one other thing I wanted to show you at the end of the video, and I had to grab it too. All right. So there we go. All right. So there's our inside of our card. Okay. Now, you will notice that things are going to get stuck. Like this may get stuck on the cupcakes or the flowers or, you know, whatever. So just be, you know, mindful of that. All right. So let's take our panel here. And this is going to go across. This is another one of those items you could have done ahead of time, but you're covering up a lot of it because we're putting flowers on it and a sentiment. All right, so we're just going to put that right in the middle. Sometimes fancy folds are fancy to make. All right, so again, we're not going to pop this one up because of the card being big, thick already. This is definitely going to be extra postage card. All right, so lay that right there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our pieces. So we have our flowers still. Oh, let's do our balloons really quick. We're going to add a balloon right here. You don't have to, but it is for a birthday, and I thought, you know what? I have them. Let's add our balloons. And we're just going to do a little bit of glue on the way down. And I'm just going to add a balloon right there. And then we're going to add a balloon on the other side. right, add that there. All right, so there's that. Now let's close this up. See, this needs to be in the middle. That's the secret to folding it. All right, so let's take our piece here and add our embellishments. I mean our dimensionals. So this one, let's move the X-Acto knife out of the way so we don't hurt ourselves. Yeah, I think what I ended up doing is I die cut and then I turned it over and I die cut again from the back side. So I'm remembering now. That's what I did, but I think starting on the back side is a really good idea. All right, so we have our dimensionals on here. Now this time, your two leaves are gonna go over this way, okay? So it's gonna go like this. All right, so there's that. We're gonna take our Make-A-Wish. We're gonna add a dimensional on the back of our flower here. And we are gonna pop this up right here on the top of your corner there. All right, now let's, we have our embellishments here. We're not going to put any here yet. This is going to kind of slide in. So this is going to glue and this is going to have dimensionals. So we'll worry about that when we're done. Well, first, we're going to do our ribbon. And all I did with our bow, now you can do what you want. I have it to where I wanted to see it in all four corners. So what I did is I did a bow like this. And then I just loosely like made it to where I just kind of laid it on here. So it's going to be mostly covered up. I didn't even do the bow tight. Don't do the bow tight because you want to see it. And this is how much I used. So I gave you the same amount. Just kind of fan it out. Okay, so remember, this doubles up really easily. So you kind of want to make sure it's, as soon as you can find the top and the bottom portion, and kind of fan that out. Okay, top and bottom. And then, like, I have a lot more over here, so if you wanted to undo it and kind of adjust it, you can. So what I did is I just did a little bit of adhesive right here. Stick your bow down. You know, just put your bow wherever, kind of pull it out. I want it to the corners, to the sides, just kind of make sure it's out. Now let's take this. All right. So we're going to go like, oh, you know what? I'm going to add some glue. Even though this is going to hold it down, glue to me just adds that extra security. All right, so you want to make sure your edges are in. All right, so just kind of go through and really make sure your flower is on there. Okay, so there's that. We'll cut this and worry about that when we're all done. You don't want to cut it too much because now you're going to put your sentiment on it and you don't want to lose it. So we're going to put our sentiment here. We're definitely going to put a dimensional up in this right corner. Okay, I'm going to put another one right here. And then this is going to go right onto the edge. The rest of this is really going on the card. So we're going to add glue. Right. And I'm just going to go, I'm going to move this down. I want to see that yellow right there. And I'm going to make sure that it's inside the card. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to cut this. And it can go off because it's very thin. It'll be fine in a card, you know, on your card. All right, so there's that. And now we're going to add our butterfly. we have one butterfly right here. I'm just going to add it right here onto the flowers. And then I brought back in our party dots. And I added a large here. And of course you can use whatever colors. They all match really nicely here. And I added there, and I took one more large one and I just put it up here. Okay, so that's that. Now you can open it up, and if you wanted to add more on the inside, you could just remember the thickness of your card. That's why I thought the ephemera on the inside is better, because it is less thickness to it. So keep that in mind. So again, this card, it is tricky. Like I said, it was the first one I did, and so I wanted to remember what I did for the centerpieces. And I did do the front cut first, and it didn't work, so then I took it to the back. But when we did the second side from the back first, that worked fine. So just make sure, like this one, I can tell that the glue might have been just inside that edge. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit right here and put that adhesive on there. So you might want to get a little closer to your edges, especially on the inside here part. And then also run a strip of your adhesive when you're adding this panel, like right here, a little extra adhesive there. That way you have your pieces stick and you don't have to add that adhesive glue at the end, which is fine. It works. I mean, that works out too. But there you go. So there's that card. Now see how this one's really puffy and this one's not? It's just, it'll settle down because that's how mine was. Is doing opening and closing it, and it will settle down. So fun card for number 3. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't get intimidated by this. Just remember the measurements I told you. If you want to just use your trimmer, you could do all of them if you wanted at a time. You could do the white first, and then you could feel from the back side. You could use your score and cut the back side of it through and do just the one cardstock and one DSP should work fine. Just maybe try it out and see what works for you. But it's a super fun card and totally worth all the hard work. Speaking of hard work, don't get scared, but our next project is a little, this is the one that I'm going to do for my swap. It's called an envelope card, and it's so cute, and I put a wobble, so you'll get a wobble to put your flowers on. Oops, let me hold it up right. So you have it's stuck on my cupcake. There we go. So now we have a wobble with our flowers, which is so fun. It's a little, it's easy to make. There's just a trick to it. So let me show you what we're going to do. All right. And I had to leave this part because it really is a learning to learn how to do this. So this is a class, so I try to do teaching in it. So this is what we're doing. So I want to know how you guys did on the class. I don't want you to put these aside and go, nope, it's too much, too hard. Don't do that. A lot of people tell me, oh my gosh, it was way easier than I thought. So when I do classes, so just keep that in mind and give it a try. All right, so we have our blueberry bushel. We're just going to do our sentiment first, right from the get-go. Look at my things dry already again. Let's see. Okay, there we go. I wet it. All right, so now we're going to do blueberry bushel, and we're going to do Make-A-Wish right from the get-go. That is our front sentiment. Look how pretty. So we'll do that and set it aside. I moved all my ephemera to the side, and my butterfly, and my wobble. You're going to find 2 small pieces that are scored. So we are going to score those. Those pieces are the ones let me flip my page here so I can make sure I'm looking at my stuff right. And this one, oops, wrong one. That's your bonus card. Your bonus card will be on your PDF. Okay, here we go. All right. So these are what make this. Okay, so the center is going to go inward. So it's going to go like this. Okay, and then we have these. So it's going to look like an M. Okay, so there's your one M. Okay, so your center is going to go inward, and then these are going to go outward. All right, so you can score those if you want to. I just fold them, but you know, whatever works for you. So just fold those and set those aside. All right, here is where it's going to get tricky. Do not glue anything yet. Okay, so you have your two larger pieces. So let's start with that. So it says mark both sides down 1.5 inches. Okay, so take a ruler and go down. Let me find my pencil. Use a pencil and go down 1.5 inches. This ruler goes to the very edge. So just see what your ruler does. But 1.5, so there's 1.5, and I'm going to go right to there. Okay. And then I need 1.5 on this side. 1.5 right here. Okay. Now across the center, you want it in the center. So in the center of this, because this is 5.5 by 4.25, in the center is 2 3/4. All right. 2 3/4 is my center spot. Okay. So do that just on your blue one. All right. So I did little tiny marks. There's a mark here and over here, and then one in the center up there in pencil. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I am going to put my mark here and my mark right there. Okay. So here and here. All right. And I'm going to cut that. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing here and here. All right, there and there. And I'm going to cut that. All right. This is the back of my envelope. Okay. Now, I gave you measurements for the DSP, but I'm going to show you a trick because I did the measurements like I was told. I got this from, oh, it's not written on here. I will add it. I believe it was Sam Calcott. Okay. And so I saw this and loved it. Your DSP is cut smaller. Okay. So it's going to fit on your card like it should. Okay. Like that. So you want to move it up. Okay. So look at the size of your size. So it's like 1/8 of an inch, and the bottom will be about 1/8 of an inch. So you're going to want to move this up like 1/4 of an inch, right? So just move it up. It doesn't have to be a lot. You can eyeball it. It's okay. Then I turn it over and I cut it. That way I know the shape will go along with what I cut here. Just in case this is a little lower, just in case, you cut on the right side of the line versus the left side of the line. I found this to be the easiest because when I did it, I cut this paper like it said, and it did not line up very well. And so I thought, well, that is a bunch of bularchy. So what was I going to do? So I decided, okay, I'm going to go up like 1/4 of an inch, not 1/8. Okay. And so go up about 1/4. I'm going to hold it firmly, turn it over. I'm going to use a larger pair of scissors. Be careful not to hold it too tight because that's not straight, right? So make sure you're 1/4 of an inch. Your sides are good. Grab it, turn it over, and now I'm looking, I have about 1/8 of an inch on each side. hold it, and I'm going to cut right along the outside here and right along the outside here. Now I can just slide it down. Okay, I can slide it down now and it looks fine. So that's that layer. All right, the next one, the front panel, which is this one. Okay, the front panel, it says mark it down 1 1/4 inches. Okay, so I'm going to go to the side again. 1 1/4, which is right here. Okay, 1 1/4 over here, which is, I'll hold it still here, right here. Okay, and then on the top, 2 3/4. Again, it's the same width. So 2 3/4, right there. Okay, same thing. I'm bringing another trimmer. I put 1 dot, so I'm looking at the line here where the blade's going to go. I put 1 there, and I angle that. Okay, so this is where you're going to see where your blade could go on this side of the mark or that side of the mark. Oops, let me move it up. Okay, so it could go on this side or that side. You got to be, really careful. That's why this is my secret way, which I'm sure is not a secret. I'm sure people do it this way, but it just fits. It just works better. All right, so I'm going to go right here, and I just double check, make sure nothing moves, and I'm going to cut. All right, you could put this on here if you wanted and cut. There's lots of different ways you can do it, but I'm this way. Make sure you get on the tip because you want this to be a point, right? So you want to do it on the point. All right, so there we go again. Make sure it's in there. Make sure you have your lines and you cut. Okay? All right. So now take your paper, and now the flower side is out. Okay? We're going to do the same thing. Take your paper, go up about 1/4 inch. And close is fine, especially, look at, we're covering all this up back here. You're really not going to see, if you're a little off, it's not really going to make a big difference. But you kind of do want to see those blue lines because that's kind of what makes that envelope look, right? So I'm going to go up like 1/4 inch with 1/8 on each side and hold it, flip it, and again, I'm going to bring it up just past the tip because I want a tip. So I'm going to bring it up just past a tip on both sides. See how I moved it and okay, so there we go. And so I'm going to go in this way. You got to hold it loosely and carefully because you want to not move your paper too much. All right, now you're going to move our paper down. And see, that works out. So that's the next one. All right, so now it says inside panels is the next one. Let me flip my page here. Inside panels. This, actually, the small one goes behind your sentiment, so we can move that over. Inside panels are these two right here. It's the only ones you have left, okay, your inside panels. All right, so now, let me move all these scraps away. Inside panel, go down 2 1/4. Okay, so you're going to go down, oh, sorry. This way is going to be like this, okay? So I'm going to add that in here. Okay, so I add that so I can make sure I remind to tell you that. So now we're doing a more vertical, not horizontal. So you're going to go down 2 1/4. So let me make sure this is lined up. 2 1/4, which is right here. 2 2¼ which is right here. And this is 2 inches, so you're going in an inch. Okay, so in an inch, down 2¼ on both sides, on both of these. In an inch, down 2¼ Now this card will probably end up being a video, only because it's going to be a swap. And it was going to be a swap before I put it in class. But I decided I really liked the card so much that I had to put it in class, because I think you guys will really enjoy this. Okay, so same thing. You're going to take your spot on the side, your spot on the top, close that up, make sure you're lined up. So you can see how easily this can be, when you try to do the DSP and measure it, it just could not line up just right, and it's a pain. Now, you could take this, add it here, hold it at the bottom, and you could just, it's hard to see. That's the problem. You could just cut it, but it's very hard to see, so I prefer not to do that. And I am going to, although I'm realizing I cut really crooked right here, but it's okay. It's going to be the downside anyway. You'll see. I didn't go all the way down to my mark right there. See where I did? I kind of was over to the side a little bit, and that's okay. All right, so this one and that one right here. And then this one and that. All right, so there are your 2 pieces. Again, this is why I do it the way I do it, is because no matter what, even if it's off just a little bit, your DSP is going to be pretty close. So again, we're going to take our DSP. Now here I kind of decide, what do I want to see? Because this is what's going to be right here on your inside panels, which is what these 2 panels are right here. It's really covered up a lot. You really can't tell that much, so I wouldn't worry about it. So we're going to take this and we're going to line it up, and we're going to go up a ways. Again, we want the tip to be at the tip. Okay. Oh, that's probably a delivery I have coming. All right, and we're going to just do it like that. Turn it over. Make sure you have your sides okay, and we do. And just follow your blue. Follow your blue. And again, bring your card back down. Now you can see you still have your lines right there, but it doesn't kind of come down. So you could go back in and adjust that if you wanted to. I think it's going to be just fine because you don't really see a lot of that. You could bring it down to where the top part looks great right here, because you're not going to see this anyway, right? You only see this part. So I'm not even worried about that part. All right, so we're going to bring this here again. Oops, yeah, here. I'm like, is this the right one? I'm going to bring the tip up, which were there. Make sure that this side and that side look even and okay. And it's to the tip. Make sure you don't cut your fingers. And turn it. So this worked out way easier for me than trying to cut this and then put it up. It was not matching. So that is the way I did it, and it worked every time. Close enough to be perfect. All right, so now let's bring these in. We're going to go ahead and glue this together here. But first, we're going to bring these in. All right, we are going to glue one side here, just like that, okay? Because you want to put your DSP on top of that. So we're going to glue this. Remember, the M is going to be like this, okay? You want the center to go in, all right? So we're going to lay that down. Lay this on the edge, so I'm going to fold it and move it over to the edge. Get it right to the edge. All right, so you want to make sure that when it's folded, so I'm going to push this down a little bit. It kind of oozed out a little bit. This paper kind of went out a little. Make sure it is on there. Turn it over. Make sure it's flush right there. Okay. All right, so there is that. And we don't have to worry about that. We're putting adhesive on. I mean, we're putting paper on top of that. This one, same thing. It's going to go out this way. So you want to make sure this is on. So make sure I'm going to fold it down and slide it to the edge, bottom and side. Okay, bottom and side, and then I'm going to pick it up. That looks fine. Just make sure your bottom and your side are good. Now, our DSP is going to go in here. Remember, you're not as concerned about the bottom as you are the top. So just when you're putting it together, the top is what you're going to see. This will be a video, but after my are on stage, so you guys get to see it early. And I'm doing a different pattern. I'm not doing this for on stage. So if you happen to be in my swap, it's an organized swap, but if you happen to be in it, it'll be a different card anyway. Same fold, but it's a fancy fold, organized swap. All right, so there's that. All right. Okay, now we're going to do, let's glue everything else together. And again, I like to use liquid because I like it to be I like to wiggle it into place. And I'm going to start here at the top. Make sure my sides and my space up there look even. Pull that one down just a little bit, but see how nice that looks? Now this is at the top, so you want it to, I'm going to trim this a little bit. I've got a little blue fuzzies. I'm going to make sure, there we go. All right, so that's good. Let's go ahead and do this one while we're right here. Get our sentiment. And I just took a piece of paper that had a light pattern on it, and that's what I used for our sentiment. And I believe that this was like a banner, like a panel like this in the label area, the one with the sunflowers or the daisies or whatever on the other side. All right, these, remember, one's going to go this way. So I like to look at them. Now, if you want to, we could either, you don't want to turn them over because the shape might be different than your paper because we put it that way. But if you wanted to, erase your pencil marks. Now, if you wanted, you could do them both upside down, but then that gets kind of confusing. So that one goes with that one. And so I'm just going to erase those. You're not even going to see the tips, and you probably can't see it anyway. So, all right, so we're just going to put this one over here. I'm going to make sure that this one looks good. And that looks fine. I'm going to move that in a little bit. Okay, fix my paper a little bit. And then this one's going to go on this side. So we're going to move that in a little bit. Now, if I move this one in, look at, I can move it down, but then that's going to be far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this. And I'm just going to trim it a little bit. I'm just going to follow that line and get it to what I want it to look like. So you can get it close, and then you might have to kind of play with a little bit. So I think that looks okay. You don't have to have a whole lot, but it's totally up to you what you want to do. If you want to do a little more, a little less, I think that's fine. Okay, so we're going to glue these together. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember that. It does not have to be perfect. People are going to be like, wow, look at this fancy fold. And it does not have to be like, they're not going to pull it out, and I mean, unless they're going to try to copy it, which is possible. But, and then I could also trim that if I wanted to, but the problem is this is going to fit right on here perfectly. So you don't want to trim this, because then you'll have to trim that, but then you'll have to trim all that. So, oh, be aware of that. Oh, my husband and I have been having crazy allergies, and I've actually done pretty good today so far, but he went to the doctor yesterday, and he was taking Allegra, and the doctor said, change it up. Go to Claritin or, something else, because sometimes your body just kind of gets used to whatever medicine you're taking, and changing it up will help. So he changed it. I have actually been doing okay. All right, so there we go. Those look good. We're going to glue those on. So let's take our glue right here. We're going to put our inside pieces next. All right, so there is our inside piece. I'm going to bring my little glue, my silicone here for the glue, over, and we're going to just lay this right on top. Now, I like to lay it on top to get glue to go to the edge, and then I'll move this to the edge. All right, there we go. And you want to make sure that when you fold it, you have your piece in. So I'm going to move it down just, oops, not too much. I'm going to move it down a little bit so that when you fold it, it doesn't hang off, okay? You want to make sure it doesn't hang off. So there's that side. I want to make sure I didn't slide my paper all over the place because it was still kind of dry. I mean, kind of wet. All right, we're going to do this side. Bet you guys didn't realize you're going to have so many fancy folds in this class. This class became way more than I was thinking it was going to, but I just couldn't stop playing with this class. I was having so much fun. Like I said, the paper, the ephemera, everything was just like, I could not stop playing with it. So I was trying all kinds of stuff. And then I have a couple samples to show you. All right, so there's this. All right, there's that one. Now, we're going to take this and put it here. But what we're going to do first is we're going to take dimensionals right here, because we want it to have right here, you're going to have that little space right there. So you want to add your dimensionals to kind of make it look like it's puffed out a little bit. And so that's where that is. So this goes flat, okay? So we are going to do another, this is all dimensional on, okay? So we're going to do those two, and then we're going to take dimensionals for this one, and we're going to put them, oh, like as soon as I find them, on the outside. So I'm going to do one right here, and one right here, and then I even took small ones, and I did one right here, because you want it nice and secure, right? Right there. And I'm just going to double check. I think I did one more. Yeah, I did. One more I did right here. And I do them on the bottom right here, because we have these that are going to stick right here, but you want to be able to stick stuff in. So that gives us that little extra space. So let's take all of our dimensionals off. All right. I'm going to lay this one flat. I'm going to take this right to the corner. So left and bottom, you want to make sure it's nice and flat. Okay. So here's nice and flat. Here is nice and flat. Now, oops, be careful of this. Don't want to push it down. And then this one now, you're going to push in and push down. And take this one to the corner. So now everything is flat. Okay, nice and flat on the edges, on the sides. But now we're all popped up. All right. Now it's the fun part. Okay, we can go ahead and add our sentiment. Well, we'll wait on that. Let's do the inside first. So the first thing we're going to do is let's add our large flower. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have our flower go in. Remember, this is 5.5, this is 4 1/4, so this has to be 4 1/4. So if I'm on my grid and 4 1/4 is going to be right, put this up here, right where my point's at, okay? So let me find a dark pen here. So right here is my 4 1/4. So this is 4 1/4. All right, so we want to stay within that, right? So we're going to take this, we're going to go inside here, and I did this leaf right here, right, the flower right to the tip. Okay, that is what I did to make that my flower. And then this is going to be popped up anyway. So as long as you don't go past that, but we need to cut this off. So what I did is I cut it just above the flower, the ribbon. So just cut that off right above the ribbon. You don't need it. Okay. We're going to add a wobble to your flowers, and we're going to put those right here. Okay, so see how this is? So you have this hanging off right here, and then this is at the tip, and then this is just barely over, but you know that's going to fit into a card. Okay, so we're going to go right here. We're going to put that there, so let's get our wobble. And I like to do the wobble to where I put the harder plastic part onto the image. Okay, so we're going to take this off. The hard plastic part is what I put onto what you want to wobble. Okay. Now I put this one horizontal. So this is going to go like this. I'm going to put it just like this, right in the middle, right like that. Okay, so just in the middle. Remember, this is your tip, it's your top. So just put it there in the middle so it will wobble. And now let's take our backing off. And now be careful when you're putting it in. You want it to stick where you want it. Okay, there we go. Now what I like to do is I like to put it on something like my pokey tool. Oops. So I know about where I'm going and it doesn't adhere right away. So just kind of hold something there that you can pull off. I'm going to put this like this and go in. There is my, okay, now I think I'm good. We have enough space, actually, you could use your fingers and just hold it upward. All right, so we're going to put this back up here. Hold it upward. I have my finger on it right here just to make sure it's not going to fall down. I want my yellow flower to go right there. And I'm fine with this blue one barely going off because I want this stuff to kind of go off. So your leaf is going to also go up to your 4 1/4. Okay, so right about there is where I want my flowers to be. Okay, so there's that. All right. Now you could still use your mark on your sheet when you put your cupcake on, but we'll get it all figured out after we put it together. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, let me see what all my stuff is here. Okay, hold on, I just lost a flower. Oh, there's one. I feel like I lost my flowers here. And it just, whatever flowers you have works fine. But I think I gave you guys plenty of flowers. And if you don't have the same flower, it's fine. But I think pretty much everybody has close to the same flowers. All right, I'm going to pop this little cupcake up. So I'm just going to start decorating now. I'm going to do 2 dimensionals. And I'm going to put this cupcake, just kind of squish it in, but tilt it out there a little bit. And then I have, let's see, let's do our sentiment while we're right here. I want to make sure I'm getting everything in the right spot. All right, so this one is going to go right here in the middle. And I leave a little bit of the DSP so you can see it, but you want to make sure your dimensionals stick, so don't put them too far in the corner because it does hang over just a little bit. All right, so your yellow daisy flower here is going to go, you need a dimensional on that. And that is going to go just over this one. Just kind of put that there. And then we're going to do our blue cupcake, or your other one, it's probably blue, and our pink flower. I'm going to put that one, and then our blue flower here, we're going to put a dimensional on it also. I just really like how these decorate the cupcakes. So we're just going to put that one right there. We're going to put this one right here. And we're going to use this. Now this one we're going to put towards the very bottom, and then I went right pretty much on top of it. Didn't do anything up here because this is also going to stick off of our card. So bring your card back down. Make sure where your 4 1/4 is, which is where your tip is at. But we're just going to put it like right here. So we have plenty of space, but you'll notice your dimensionals are on your card. Okay. All right, so we have that. Now we're going to have our blue flower. And we're going to take the 2 smaller green leaves. You have a large green leaf and a smaller one. You're going to take your smaller ones, and I just glued them on, but for video purposes, I'm going to use glue dots. So we're going to do a glue dot on the bottom of this one and on the bottom of this one. All right, so here's one, and here is one. So I'm going to do, oops. This one here, and this one here, just kind of together. All right, and then we're going to add our dimensional here and add this really pretty flower right here. Okay. All right, we have our cupcake and our flower. We have our flower here. We need our butterfly. So let's do our butterfly. I like to just kind of do the wings, and if you wanted to bend them a little bit, you know, whatever works for you. But you want this body part flat. We're going to add glue right here. And we're going to add this little flower, this little butterfly right here. All right, we'll let that stay there and dry. All right, and then we're going to have a flower that we're going to put right here. And I believe I just glued all of that. Yes, because it's going to be on the back side right here. So we're going to take this one and we're going to put a dimensional. And we're going to put it over here in the corner. Just kind of sticking out right there. Okay. And then this one, we're going to put at the bottom. We're going to stick it right here. Okay, we just want to fill in that empty space. And we're going to take our leaf, and I glued this directly on, so we'll do a glue dot again. I'm actually going to add a little bit of glue above it. It's a pretty big leaf, and it's going to be sticking out right here. Okay, so we just kind of filled that space in a little bit with more flowers. And then that is it. We need our embellishments, of course. So let me get these off. All right, we need this with our yellow. And what I did is I took the yellow and I put a large one right here in the middle of the yellow. Whew, it's windy out there. And I did a yellow right here. But I did a blue over here. I did a pink here. Let's see, a pink, yellow, yellow, blue. Yep, that was it. And there we go. And as long as you have your flower out in front of your cupcake, you will have a little wobble, not a waddle, a wobble on your card. So how cute is that? And if you wanted to, you could do a white panel in the back so that you can write on. And so totally up to you. You could do a square, whatever you want to do, a rectangle. You could put a label on there. Whatever you decide to do, I would do the back. But I left it open because you may want to do one of these and put something like that on there. You might want to do just a white panel, which if you do, before you adhere this, I would do just like you did the pink. And I would cut it the same size and just shift it up and cut it. And then you have your backing. So you can do whatever you want on your back, or you could add just a label or, you know, whatever you wanted to on there. But super fun little card that I really like. So I thought this one was really, really fun. This is probably my favorite in the set. But I have to show you, I have another card to show you, which is what you're going to get a kit. And it is in your PDF also to make, but I will do it on video so you can watch. I want you to be able to see how to make it. So it will be on video. So I will show you it. And it is this one. I made it for my granddaughter. And it is like a step. It's a Concentra, I think it's called. Is it Concentra? Let me see. This one is called a let me find it. Oh, I didn't even write the name down, but I think it's called a Concentra card or something like that. And it was just a fun card. So this one's really actually easy to make. So I'm giving you the kit. This isn't out of our card kit, so it's a larger card. And you will get an envelope with it also. So here is your kit. I did give you some glimmer, so you can put whatever number you want. My granddaughter's turning 10. And so I made the one for a 10 for her. And but it's a really fun, super fun card. And so I will show all the details and everything on video. But this will be the card coming up for you to see. I used the Hooray on there with one of the pink labels out of the kit. You will have your party dots to add and your butterflies, and you'll have everything to create. Even the envelope on this one, because it is the larger card that's in the mixed card pack that we have. So you'll have that one. So this one's really a fun card also. And it's actually, it's a little thicker down here, but it's actually not too bad. And you don't have to use dimensionals right there. You could glue those in if you wanted and make it an even flatter card. So I will be doing a video on that one. This is my thank you gift to you, along with a full pack of the party dots. So thank you so much for creating the class or doing the class with me. I hope you're not intimidated. It is a little bit of a crazy class. There's a lot of product. A lot of fancy folds on it. So we have this one. Let me see if I can go up a little bit so you can get them all in the picture. So there's this one, this one, this one, this one, which is hard to see. And then you'll get this one too. So I hope you guys enjoyed the class. Thank you so much. I hope you will join me in the B class. Again, I've already done the projects, and there will be 2 fancy folds, 2 cards, and then a thank you gift, which will also be included in that class. So I hope you'll join me for that one. Here's some information on it. Thanks again, and I will see you guys really soon.